Game day's here, I can hear the crowd. Turn on the lights, fans are cranked up and loud. Red or blue, we wear it proud. Yeah, we love our teams in this border town. Chiefs and Royals, Boo Mizzou, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, KU. Hear that drum pounding in your feet. Yeah, you're marching to the beat of KC.
What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? What is going on, Jayhawk Nation? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas Murphy. And holy smokes, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing I want to say is Flory Bidunga. Holy cow, did he have a game. He was really close to getting a double-double, but he contributed across the board in this game against Notre Dame. Now, we're going to kind of talk about what this video is truly going to be about. It's going to be kind of a dual video, and the reason is because this Players Era Festival is going on, and it's going to be game after game after game, 3 days in a row. And so I really want to focus on kind of giving you the post game against Notre Dame as we prepare to take on the Syracuse Orange. So you're going to get two kind of smashed into one video. I'm excited to really talk about it. This is a busy week. Thanksgiving's here, so there's a lot going on when it comes to sports, especially in Kansas City. So we're going to be providing all kinds of videos for you all, so I'm excited. Now, Kansas entered the matchup after a solid showing against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish with a 71-61 win, where Flory Bidunga posted 18 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 blocks. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you. He went off, and I know a lot of you watched the game. And so it was a phenomenal showing. But the thing is it was kind of a three-headed monster. Yes, leader of this group was Flory Bidunga, but you had really good contributions from Bryson Tiller, and you had an even better showing as well from Trey White, the three-headed monster. I was super excited to see them all kind of cohesively come together, play as a unit, and everyone around them kind of worked together and contributed to the team effort. There were times where Notre Dame would really kind of push and make a good run, but then we would find ways to kind of pull away and slowly get away. One of the other things too, before we get too much into this, is we saw Flory and Bryson kind of stay away from foul trouble. When they stay away from foul trouble, they're able to really dominate down in the paint. They're able to really contribute past the ball, which is what they did pretty well in this game. They really distributed the ball throughout the entire game. I thought it was phenomenal. And again, it's the fact that they stayed out of foul trouble and they were both able to cohesively work on the floor. So it was great to see. Now, Syracuse comes in from a hard-fought overtime loss to Houston. I really watched that game because obviously we're going to be playing Syracuse, and Houston is in the Big 12, and so I really wanted to see how both teams were going to be. So Syracuse would come up short. Man, it was a phenomenal game. Syracuse took Houston to the wire in the second half, came all the way back, hit clutch threes. I mean, it was a phenomenal showing. Carmelo Anthony on the side watching the game, but it would go to overtime and the Houston Cougars would pull away and win 78-74. They did show a lot of resilience. One of the things I really want to hit on too before we get too deep into this as well is Syracuse played extremely tough. And that could be a positive and a negative. And the reason I say that is it's a positive because this team really shows that they're physical. They like to play hard. They get after it. That's exactly how Houston plays. Now, where it's a negative is they exerted a lot of energy. They played for a really long time. They even went into overtime, and they have a short turnaround where they're going to be playing a somewhat rested Kansas. Now, not fully rested because Kansas just played right before them, but they've had more time to kind of be off their feet. And so, it's going to be something to pay attention to. Is Syracuse going to be fully healthy? They did have a great showing, though, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to dive in and really break this thing down. So what Kansas brings to this Syracuse matchup? Now, the strengths. Inside dominance. Bidunga's multi-stat line showed Kansas' ability to impact both ends inside the paint, We're seeing Flory block shots. We're seeing him contribute assists. We're seeing him score points. He's getting rebounds. He's doing it all. He's literally encompassing every stat line that you need, not only from a big man, but a college basketball player. So we're really seeing that inside dominance. He has a phenomenal shot, left hook. I mean, we're getting it all. Now, another thing is the balanced scoring. So in the Notre Dame game, Kansas had multiple contributors. Bryson Tiller was 17 points, 9 rebounds. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Bryson Tiller was really close to that double-double as well. I do believe that was a career high for Bryson Tiller. Trey White contributed 16 points, 9 rebounds. Another player that was within one of getting a double-double. You know, Trey White sustained an injury, kind of took a shot to the nose, had to leave right there before half, was bleeding everywhere. But he came back, had that thing taped up, and was ready to go, and he got back in there in that second half and really contributed as well. One of the big things, too, is ball movement, and we talked a little bit about that. I think when you're really seeing this team focus on getting it down to the big man, whether that is Flory Bidunga, you're seeing them also contribute the ball, because we also highlighted the fact that Flory had 5 assists, so they're really dishing the ball around, which is really kind of opening things up. And so Kansas had 16 assists on 28 field goals versus Notre Dame, showing they can share the ball and generate offense. Now, what could be some potential weaknesses or things to watch? And again, it's kind of highlighted in the three-point shooting. While Kansas dominated inside against Notre Dame, their outside shooting was noted as less really of a contribution. It's something that we are seeing kind of more and more. Cole Rosario not able to hit the shot when they say he has one of the best shots. We're seeing Bryson Tiller, I think he went 0 for 5 from the three-point line. They are going to be without Jaden Dawson, who I believe injured his hand in the pregame to the Notre Dame game. And I think he's out for the rest of this tournament or the Players Era Festival. And of course, you're going to be without your best three-point shooter in Darren Peterson. So if Syracuse is really stretching the floor, playing the way they played against Houston, are hitting three-point shots, it's going to be a challenge to kind of hit those threes and really make comebacks. So that's something to really pay attention to. Now, depth and fatigue, and this is something I think both teams will be dealing with. This is a tournament setting with back-to-back games. Kansas may need to lean on its bench. That's one thing I really want to highlight too. Jamari McDowell, ladies and gentlemen, stepped up in a huge way. Now, again, he's not going to just load the stat line with points, but he's going to contribute solid defense. He's going to take shots when he needs to take shots, which we saw in this game. He hit a very clutch 3, which helped extend the lead. Jamari McDowell is really kind of earning more and more playing time, and I'm excited to see him. I really do think you'll see a lot more of the depth on this bench, especially with a guy like Jaden Dawson not being able to play, as well as Darren Peterson. So they're probably going to lean a little bit more on some depth just to get some freshness out there when they need to. And I could see the same thing being said for the Syracuse Orange. Now, what Syracuse brings, the strength, competitive resilience. We saw that in this Houston game. Syracuse pushed Houston into overtime, showing they can hang with elite opponents. They're also in the ACC, so they're going to be facing the exact same teams that we faced. You know, in North Carolina and Duke, they're very competitive. They balanced contribution. Syracuse got production from multiple players, so Tyler Betsy, William Kyle III, Nathan George. And in that game, the Orange had 6 players score in double figures. Now, they did go into overtime. There was a lot more of the game played than just regulation, but the fact that they still had 6 players scoring double figures shows that they like to distribute the ball. They like to play up tempo. They are a fast-moving offense. Efficient offense early, that's another thing. Syracuse entered that game 4-0, and they had shown the ability to score well. Now, they obviously take the loss to Houston, but they do show the ability to score, which we also highlighted. 6 players in double figures. Now, some potential weaknesses. In a market that never sleeps, one name rises above the rest. Lisa Miller from Dan Lynch Real Estate. Trusted by hundreds and recognized across the Midwest. She delivers results when it matters the most. With over 13 years of experience and licenses in both Kansas and Missouri, Lisa isn't just selling houses. She's helping you find a place to call home. Whether you are a first-time home buyer, looking to upsize, or selling your current home, Lisa makes the process smooth and stress-free. As a local expert passionate about building lasting relationships, she ensures her clients feel confident and satisfied every step of the way. Don't wait, your perfect home is just a call away. Contact Lisa today at 913-579-3246 or 913-369-3000. Or visit lisamillersellskc.com. Let Lisa Miller at Lynch Real Estate help you start your next exciting chapter. And let her know the beat of KC, Lucas Murphy, sent you her way. Injury and availability, I think that's something to really pay attention to. They were without their top scorer, Donnie Freeman, who missed the Houston game due to a lower leg injury. I'll be curious to see if he even is available against Kansas, especially with that quick turnaround. If he really is dealing with a lower leg injury, there's a chance he probably won't play in this Kansas game, which is a good thing for Kansas. Free throw shooting, that was a massive, massive thing for this Syracuse Orange team against Houston, especially in the close game aspect. In the loss to Houston, they shot just 12 of 29 from the line, and that's a factor, especially when it comes down to a tight spot. Now, strength of schedule, and that doesn't really factor into this game specifically, though they're 4-1, some of the early wins were against weaker competition. But when we see that, how they really played against Houston, I think that all goes out the window. This isn't any game type of thing. If they show up, they're motivated, especially with how close they played Houston, they're going to be looking to take down Kansas, a big blue blood. I mean, a team that historically just has banners in the rafters. I mean, they know who they're playing, so they're going to bring it, and it's going to be a factor for sure. Now, some key matchups to watch. Again, unfortunately, Darren Peterson will not be playing. That's someone you always want to see on this court, and I really think if Darren Peterson were playing, we would have a completely different perspective of this game just because Darren provides so much. He draws attention. He has the ability to shoot the three ball. He likes to drive and get fouled. He is a contributor, which would really aid in Flory Bidunga and also, the other guys around him in Trey White and Bryson Tiller. But given Kansas' strength inside with Bidunga and Tiller, and Syracuse's ability to rebound and contest shots because they're also doing the same thing, William Kyles III's double-double versus Houston, this may decide the game. Kansas wants to dominate inside and keep Syracuse off balance. Syracuse must take Kansas and make them earn everything and maybe force them into jumpers or turnovers, because we see when Kansas really starts to kind of force the jumper and they don't really set up and kind of run an offense, or maybe they're just too quick to try to score, we often get cold, and that's where the other team makes runs. We saw that against Notre Dame. There was a stretch coming out of the second half, I believe it was around the 15-minute, 14-minute mark. Kansas just went cold, and Notre Dame started to take advantage of that, and they really started to make a run. So it will be interesting to see if Syracuse keeps that up-tempo, they're able to score, they're able to force turnovers. It's going to be interesting to see how this game really evolves. Tempo and transition, we just kind of hit on that. Syracuse likes to push the pace. Kansas must be able to manage the transitions. And what I'm saying is we've experienced that very well against a team like North Carolina. North Carolina has a similar play style to Syracuse. They like to push it. They like to drive the ball down quick. They like to work it down and move it around quickly and then take shots. And so if Kansas is trying to match their tempo, their speed, if we get too much behind, that's where we're going to see us kind of start to lag. And if Syracuse can get out and run, they may negate Kansas's half-court strengths. Again, another thing to pay attention to is the three-point shooting influence of Syracuse. With that stretching of the floor, effectively hitting the three ball, they can open the lane for drives and play inside. If that forces, guys like Flory to get fouls, Bryson Tiller to get fouls, it's really going to kind of put Kansas at a disadvantage because they're not going to be able to play together on the floor. And when they play together, we see what can happen because they just feed off of each other. Kansas' ability to guard the arc while maintaining interior presence will matter in this game 100%. Now, the X factors for each team. Kansas, we obviously know who it's going to be. It's going to be Flory Bidunga, maintaining his all-around impact, staying out of foul trouble. I'm going to hit on that. Stay out of foul trouble. Now, another one is the three-headed monster, Bryson Tiller and Trey White. Also staying consistent, and the bench being able to step up. We need guys like Jamari McDowell to continue to play the same style he's been playing, not to force it, play good defense, take timely shots, do those things that he needs to do. We need to see a guy like Elmarco Jackson really kind of start to figure it out, get going. Same with Cole Rosario. Although Cole has been a starter, he's really kind of had the light of being a freshman. It's showing. he needs to kind of start to play the way we've seen him play against some of these lesser opponents. He really has the ability. It's just like the light kind of gets to him and the pressure gets to him, and he either passes it, dishes it, doesn't want to take the shots. He does play defense. He does hustle. He is a go-getter, but we just need to see it more when it comes to capitalizing on shots and things like that. Now, Syracuse, Freeman's health and return, that's a question mark. But Betsy's shooting, he hit 4 threes versus Houston, and minimizing mistakes in the late game aspect, so making their free throws. If they're making their free throws, then that could really be an X factor for the Syracuse Orange. What might decide it? It's going to come down to some very minimal things. Turnover margin, Kansas's ball movement shows discipline. If Syracuse forces those turnovers, they'll stay in it. Rebounding, especially offensive rebounds, Kansas has dominated the paint, specifically in this Notre Dame game. If they control the boards, they control the second chance points, which is a massive thing. We have been a little bit better from the free throw line than obviously Syracuse, so free throws and clutch plays in tight games. Execution in the final minutes, which is a very situational thing. Syracuse struggled versus Houston. And with them playing so close in games, that could continue into this Kansas game. So that really could swing in Kansas's favor. My final thoughts, Kansas enters this game riding momentum and showing capability inside and across the roster. I feel like they're building momentum. They're building confidence. They know that they can do that. Syracuse is dangerous, though. They're battle-tested, very similar to how Kansas is when it comes to who they've played. So both these teams have good resumes. And so in the recent high-level matchup, they do have injury and execution questions. If Kansas brings their interior strength and shares the ball while defending the arc, finding a way to defend the arc is going to be massive. They'll have the upper hand, but Syracuse, if healthy and confident, can make it a close one, especially if they force Kansas out of their comfort zone. The one to keep an eye on, as we're going to constantly hit on, is Flory Bidunga. He's stepped up. He's broken out of that shell. We've seen him be what he can be. He's starting to do that against bigger programs. So Bidunga's performance and how Kansas handles Syracuse's tempo. It's going to be a great game, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited. This Kansas team is continuously going to play good teams, and that's just how it is. The schedule is not going to get any easier. We face Syracuse, then we find out who we play the next day. After that, we really start to play some more teams. Kansas is going to be just as much battle-tested as anybody in this entire college basketball season. Appreciate you checking out this video. The support for the Kansas Jayhawks videos have been absolutely insane. I can't thank you all enough. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Please comment down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. And I end every video the exact same way. Have a good day.